This is insane as the Sharks have a rookie that is dominating the league and nobody is talking about it. Plus, the Sharks make a sneaky signing out of the NCAA that is going to have major implications on the team's future. So you're not going to want to miss this episode of Sharks Digest. But before we get into it, Mark, we got to say that 59% of people watching this video right now aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up on the latest Sharks news, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, let's jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about today. And first, before we get into the rookie who is dominating the league, we got to talk about this big signing that Mike Grier made out of the NCAA, and that is Noah Beck, not the TikToker, the hockey player out of Arizona State in the NCAA. They signed him to a one-year entry-level contract starting next season, the 2025-2026 season. And if you haven't really heard of Noah Beck, we're going to talk about him right now. He's 6'3", a big body, 24 left-hand shot defenseman that a lot of people say he's good. He's a big, tall guy who can pass the puck, which is great to see. I mean, sometimes you see a lot of these players that are lean more defensive, but Noah Beck here leans a little bit more offensive. He's more of a two-way defenseman here from what I've seen online. So far with Arizona State University, his first year there, he switched from Clarkson University this season to Arizona State and had a great season. 33 points in 37 games, almost a point per game player in the NCAA, putting up 5 goals, 28 assists. So this is a guy who can dish out the pucks and make great zone entry passes for his forwards, and it's just great to see. I mean, Dauber Prospects goes on and says he's an intelligent and mobile two-way defenseman with decent offensive potential and NHL-ready size, which is great to hear about this guy. But we did get an NHL scout comment on Noah Beck and his signing to the San Jose Sharks from our resident Sharks expert, Sheng Peng. That whole article will be linked down below, so make sure to go check that out. But we got to talk about what he had to say here, and he said, "It will take him some time, but he might be a guy that breaks into fill an NHL role in his late 20s. And you got to remember, this guy is 24 right now, so his late 20s is only a couple of years away. So Mark, obviously, seeing this right now, it's great to see that the Sharks go out there and make another signing, a great signing from the NCAA, and hearing these things from scouts that this guy has a good future in San Jose, I think this guy's going to be an interesting prospect to watch here.
I mean, the biggest thing is we're seeing Mike Grier really go out and add size to the prospect pool. And listen, 20-something years old isn't that young, but you're still getting a guy, and if you want to pull the stats up again, that made quite a significant jump when playing with Arizona to join this team. He came in almost a point per game after putting up 9 points with Clarkson University. We see the development of the offensive game, but the biggest thing is you cannot teach size. 6'3", left-handed shot. Yes, we would like him to be a right-handed shot, but they're going to have to go out and find a right-handed shot, maybe in this year's draft. We know they have a loaded left side coming up with Sam Dickinson headlining that right now, Mario Ferraro already on the team, but he continues to add sides to the team. We've seen him with Vincent Desharnais when they added him at this trade deadline, going out, adding a 6'7", I believe, defenseman to the blue line. They made a few small trades also to get more physical guys. They know they have the offensive power to go with the future of the team in Celebrini and co, but adding size, and I love this signing. Listen, Noah Beck could come in a couple of years. It takes a while for big defensemen to really find their footing in the NHL, but I wouldn't be surprised in 2 to 3 years we could see him join the Sharks team as a shutdown defenseman with a bit of passing to his game to help with the future of this team, Casey.
Yeah, definitely have to agree with you. I think this guy is a very sneaky signing, like you see in the title of this video, because, you know, at surface level, this isn't a huge signing, but in regards of the Sharks, it is a big signing for their future, because obviously this is a team that's in a rebuild. The more young pieces that they get, the better their future will be. So I think this is a great depth signing for Mike Grier, because we're not thinking about this guy's going to come in and make an instant impact with the Sharks, but I think he will come in, have an instant impact with this Barracudas team, logging a lot of minutes down there in the AHL. So that makes a lot of sense for this signing, because it's helping out the AHL level. But we've seen this year multiple guys be called up from the Barracuda, and this is a guy who, if he comes over and his game translates into the AHL, we could potentially see him, if not next year, the season after. I think the sky's the limit for this guy, and I think this is a guy to get excited about. I'm excited to see how he will play with the Barracuda next year. That's where I suspect he will be, and it's great signing for the future. Well, to keep you up to date on all the latest signings around the Sharks. I mean, there's going to be a big offseason ahead, but Mark, switching gears here into Will Smith. Will Smith has been a guy who has had an insane season for the San Jose Sharks, but nobody is talking about how good he has been playing since the Four Nations break. If we just take a look from one Twitter user here, he says, Will Smith is having a great season and it doesn't get talked about enough. And if you see the three rookie point leaders since January 1st, since the beginning of 2025, obviously Lane Hutson's up there with 27. Macklin Celebrini's there with 25. These guys are neck and neck right now for the Calder. But Will Smith is right behind them. Only 2 points behind them. It's not a big drop-off. It is only 2 points. It goes from 25 to 23 points. This is a guy who has had an incredible second half to the season, incredible start to 2025, and nobody is talking about him in the rookie contention at all, or anything like this. I mean, it's crazy to see this. I mean, if we just look at the season he has 36 points in 62 games. He's about a half point per game player right now. The thing that's been so valuable for the Sharks team out of Will Smith is his ability to play any position. We've seen him at center at times. We've seen him at right wing at times. He's really been a Swiss Army knife for this team and has been excelling at it for this San Jose Sharks team. I mean, Mark, I don't know what they're putting in the milk and cookies that him and Celebrini are eating in the hotel room, but these guys are buzzing right now, especially Will Smith. This is a guy who is going to have a great future here in San Jose.
I mean, I want to first say, if you had a crystal ball and you picked it up and looked at it, it's tinted teal because the future is teal and it's showing from this season alone. Listen, Will Smith has been incredible this year. We actually seen just a few months ago, Ryan Warsofsky say that Will Smith is going through a bit of a tough time because he's not the number one option like he was in college. Looking at this now, it seems crazy as he's one of the most dominant players in the NHL, or I should say most dominant rookies, with Celebrini right next to him. Celebrini is going to win the Calder. Will Smith is going to be his right-hand man. During this race, the future looks insane. Listen, Will Smith looks like he can play anywhere in this lineup. We've seen him play on the first line, the second line, the third line. Like you said, jumping between wings, playing center, playing on the power play. It's just a matter of time before the rest of the league really realizes who Will Smith is. And I'm not talking about the actor because no one gives anything about him anymore, as we have Will Smith, the hockey player right now, that's going to be a future star in this league next to Macklin Celebrini. I mean, this is the Sharks team, Casey, that isn't the best right now. Let's be honest. They're going to go in with the top 3 pick, maybe get the first overall line. We're hoping they do at least. But looking at this team, the future is set up perfectly. On the offensive end, this is where the draft comes in, where you can take a defenseman. But I think Mike Grier has done an incredible job with this team, and it really starts with the Celebrini and Will Smith picks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I might make an insane comparison here. I mean, you know, Sidney Crosby has his Malkin, so maybe that's what we're seeing here. Will Smith is the Malkin to Celebrini's Crosby. I think that's the case because Celebrini, his name is always going to be in headlines around the NHL because this guy is pulling off some insane moves, some insane records, and has been a stellar player in his rookie season. But you also have a guy who isn't talked about, like Will Smith, who Sharks fans know how good of a player he is and know how good he's contributing. And on any given night, this guy is keeping this team in the mix in a season where they shouldn't be in the mix in any games. So I think this guy is going to be great for the future. And I think just the Celebrini-Smith combo that we're going to see evolve here is going to be great. I mean, if we just take a look at the Lions right now, they do have Will Smith up on that right wing with Macklin Celebrini. And look, we're at a point in the season where the Sharks are eliminated from playoff contention. Tank mode is activated. So getting him up on that first line on the right wing, testing some stuff out, isn't going to hurt. So I think if these guys, obviously they have the chemistry off the ice. They're like best buddies. If they can get the chemistry on the ice, this is going to be lethal for the future. And like Mark said, the future is teal in San Jose. And every San Jose Sharks fan should be excited for the future. And if you want to stay up to date on everything around on the Sharks. Make sure you're down below. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road for 2,000 subscribers here. Really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, go down below and subscribe to the channel. If you want to check out a video we did the other day, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.